diverse, not just its food, but its people, but also its landscapes. Bukidnon is a breath of fresh air, literally. If you're used to human and cramped cities, coming to Bukidnon makes you want to believe that the Philippines could have its green revolution. People care about the environment and slow, thoughtful development, where you can come and satisfy your hunger and nourish your soul. When we think of provinces in the mountains in the Philippines, we all gravitate towards Benguet, but Bukidnon should be part of that conversation. It has so much to offer. It is considered one of our food baskets, meaning that you get a ton of seasonal and diverse produce throughout the year. Because of that, during the American colonization period, they developed the area to be an important agricultural base. It is actually still the case today. The pride of the locals can be felt everywhere, from the tribes keeping their traditions alive, to the farmers and their produce. There's a positive energy here that fosters a sense of identity. I started off my exploration in my River Farm, the perfect example of a Bukidnon dwelling, unimposing, open, in line with nature. Today, it's part restaurant, part glamping, campground, pop-up space, open concert area, farm, and it feels like an ever-evolving, beautifully designed DIY project that exists for its community and the people who work here.
Yeah, I feel like each time I go to Bukidnon, there's a really strong community bond
In this area,
in this area. Because you guys are all farmers, all have the same
we have the same mindset.
So this before you were saying all of this was farm.
Yes, farm. Where the houses were really that doesn't have greenhouse.
This is the nurseries for the lettuce.
Yeah.
So when you first started this, the first initial idea was, one, it was just to live here. I mean, so you had the commercial farm, and then you decided,
It was my dad's farm.
Yeah.
I decided to build a house.
you only started the restaurant 2 years ago. And what was the idea there? You wanted to start a business here, or
Yeah.
but still following kind of your philosophy on
Yeah.
how you want people to appreciate this place? And,
I want to have people like that.
yeah.
JJ built his house here, close to the river, the perfect lullaby, he says. I first heard of JJ when I was shooting a series in nearby farms about 10 years ago. A young chef who cooked tasting menus in the mountains of Bukidnon from his own kitchen by invitation only. Creative minds often don't settle. The idea grew, so did the space. JJ is a collector, a chemist, an artist, and a chef. All of that culminates in how he approaches food, looking at ingredients as vehicles of flavor rather than prescribed dishes. Everything is made from scratch in collaboration with nature and his people.
So what are you making today? This is the Robin.
Robin Padilla sandwich. Reuben sandwich is a Russian sandwich made with beef pastrami and sauerkraut. But this is a Filipino version, right? So we're using our smoked beef here. This has been smoked for 10 hours.
Oh, wow. Why is that such a big thing here? Like sausages, smoking?
Bukidnon a long time ago was dominated by American demo.
Ah, okay.
The ham, pineapple fed cattle.
Cattle, yeah. So it's a strong American influence.
Yeah. So that's what Bukidnon is really famous for.
Famous for ham. Correct, yeah. I mean, Bukidnon is also known for having amazing agriculture, right? There's a lot to play with, but even more, the ground is fertile enough to be able to grow different things also, right?
Yeah, it's like the food basket of
Yeah.
the Philippines. So this is the current, little bit of the homemade hot sauce, homemade coleslaw.
I was trying to figure out your menu, and I feel like it's just the underlying kind of concept is just making everything from scratch. So how did you get into cooking? When did you do it?
After college, my mom, go to the US. I went there, so happened a cousin of mine owns a Thai restaurant. I got bored, and after like a month, like, oh, I want to go home. No, stay there. Unwanted child, right? My cousin told me, like, hey, why don't you learn how to cook? I can teach you. So that was my first lesson. I worked 4 years. And I came back to the Philippines in 2008, opened a restaurant.
So when do you think you started developing kind of like your personal style with food?
Yeah, and did the assistant, like, really had to study and somehow, work with what I have.
So is that kind of like your approach to cooking, is using what's around you,
Yeah,
how to preserve it for longer term. So very farming kind of
yeah. Survival.
mindset, surviving mindset.
That's it, that's our Reuben sandwich. We got it.
Watching him and his team is like watching craftsmen. using the best ingredients to put out their best work with skills that are developed in peace. From the breakfast setups by the river to their pizzas, they are made with care, vibrant, fresh, colorful representation of their terroir.
Oh, let's get a full spot. This is staring at me, so I'm gonna try this. I love how colorful this is. Let me try Mark Schultz's
Robin Padilla.
what's kind of your hope on how do you want to see it develop? Because right now it's still very much under the radar, right? Like when you think of mountain towns in the Philippines, Baguio comes to mind.
Yes.
But I think this is quite special because it's still very
Still very raw, but
still very unknown and still very raw.
little by little, it's getting the the government, especially Department of Tourism, they're paying like this take to go to Mindanao. And we're told that, the government really gonna take care of waste management, the forest, be protected.
I mean, for me, it's also a big thing about the type of businesses. Because I'm guessing right now it's going to be mostly local, but I feel like you can curate it. Because if people come here for the nature, ideally all the businesses blend. Feels very homey.
For me, I prefer to like it to stay like that.
Where's the scoop this from?
That's kind of,
It's a good sandwich. Okay, I understand why Mark likes it so much.
Driving along the province and the lowlands, you will see a lot of pineapples. In the 1920s, Americans brought in seeds from Hawaii, where a pest infestation was devastating the crop. It grew from there and became the base of operation for dough. But before all that, Bukidnon is really the home of the Lumans, some of the original inhabitants of the country. There are still 7 hill tribes in Bukidnon. All of them are fighting to preserve their traditions, through their music, their tattoos, and their way of life.
I'm Kurt Paneto po. I'm a local tour guide here in Kasugo po and brand ambassador rin po ng Proud Lumat po. Ang Proud Lumat, mapagsulban kami rin din ang naaraw niya, nabiling sa mga katiwalangan, nga mo pang may-share sa karaghanan sa kabakalunan sa Tugon. Noon na mo gakang-aron alayo sa Tugon niya, isipan kami mabuti ang kita sa kabakalunan bilang kami sila po. Isa po sa akin dito, ang university lagi po, gawin ko mag-different sa culture na anak karon. Ang among mga products dito, kita nyo sa kulikod na yung mga painting. So, i-invite po na mo ang uban po ng mga local artists para po ilang maipasok. Gaya po, isa po lang ilang kaya ipakita. So, muna mo naka-display. Isa po na ang makatapasok sa ilaha. Ang Kalandang Weavers, mas na doon agad rin yung mga product po, ang Kalandang Weavers from Kapun. So, layo na kayo sila din park ng area, so na sila. Pero nadala lang yung produkto din, nagkakita sila para ang abong-abutapang yung food sa ilahan na mo kita sila nga lapit ng abot food. At niyago ang previous routine. Hindi po siguro sa mga lumad na nabiling din sa Bukidnon na proud lumad, masalamat ko kay isa yun ang gobyerno na naghatag pa naman para magpaserba kung gusto pa ang naas ang mobili. Dahil isa pa ang dahil magpapilin kami sa Bukidnon dahil isa pa mga lusin ang sila na nalakas na pamilya dito sa mga kapatid o wala pwede mo awan sa na festival sa buong Pilipinas ang non-religious festival. Wala ang mag-reserve pa yun. Kaya lahi na yun, umakit ang Bukidnon. Medyo gaya ang Bukidnon nagkita ko.
I'm going to be honest. I had never heard of the Monastery of Transfiguration in Malaybalay. It's a Benedictine monastery known for its pyramid-shaped church designed by national artist Leandro Locsin. That alone is reason enough to visit. It's the perfect backdrop for a spiritual retreat. Established in 1983, the abbey is meant to look like a Filipino Bahay Kubo come church. It's quite impressive. But that's not the most intriguing story here. We heard of a once prominent fashion designer who eventually became a monk.
Hello. Hi, welcome. Welcome to Transfiguration.
Very much.
Yeah, please come in.
Why don't you know what I call this?
Don Martin.
Don Martin.
Don Martin. Don is the traditional way of addressing the monks.
Okay.
Dan Gomez was once the most sought-after designer, along with Joe Salazar or Eno Solpa. He was known for his embroidery and his use of indigenous materials like piña and abaca. He closed down his shop in Manila in the 1990s when he decided to join his monastery, which had been a dream of his since he was a teenager. A couple of years later, he took up another challenge. He was tasked with designing a 50-piece collection of garments for the Eucharistic celebration using fabrics woven by the indigenous tribes of the Philippines. He was given 2 years to complete the collection in time for the nation's centennial independence celebration.
I was a fashion designer for 20 years. I had to stop designing first while I was under formation. And as soon as I was solemnly professed, I was immediately asked to start teaching at the Institute of Liturgy on the enculturation of vestments. The students started to ask samples of what a Philippine vestment should look like.
You contributed a lot to this.
I designed all of
I was there.
Yes, yeah. Nothing's ever really lost. People were saying that I entered the monastery, sayang, had a good career, that he did it was just a preparation for what I will be doing later on for the church.
Amazing. So have these been worn?
Yes, in fact, this was worn by the Pope's delegate last July. This was designed with Cardinal Tagle when he was the main celebrant here.
Just like how many tribes around the country indigenize Christianity or Islam, integrating religious beliefs and practices with indigenous traditions, customs, and values, this work showcases how there can be beauty in partnership.
Advanced skincare starts in your shower. Meet the new Dove Serum Body Wash. Experience active levels of skincare. Get Dove. Or get local. These spots are ready in just 3 minutes. Gamitin sauce. Embroidered pasta ating meats. Happy. Salt pasta. Delicious instant pasta. Ready in just 3 minutes.
We started with just 7 hectares. Now, after more than 40 years, this is a little over 100 hectares.
Wow. So here, the products that you made are like the coffee.
Basically, coffee, when came in, looked at the hill that was with coffee trees all in bloom, and he said, "Why don't you nurture or something and sell also some beans?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Let me teach them all." He said, "You can buy my old machine, pay me, and you can."
So it's a blessing.
It was really a blessing.
Yeah. Monasteries, similar to other institutions, require funding to sustain their operations, which include maintaining their facilities and grounds and supporting charitable and educational endeavors. As such, many abbeys have different products they produce. In Belgium, some of them make beer, generate income from tourism. Here, they roast their own coffee. After the training and setting up their operations, Don Martin took a few trips to the capital and went door to door to various retailers to try and get their product on the shelves. Eventually, some large supermarkets started carrying them. The pandemic derailed their plans a little, but you can support them by looking out for Monk's Blend in specialty shops or digital stores.
I really, really, truly enjoy that. Adding spiritual tourism, pilgrimages are becoming things that people kind of search for. These places have a lot of history, and this abbey specifically, why it's so interesting is because it shows you how you can integrate indigenous cultures into religion, and how these two worlds can kind of work together, and how they can both be uplifted by those shared commonalities.
We spent more time than I expected with Don Martin. I was just in awe of his colorful life story. We were running a little late, so our options for food were thinning out. A local follower was kind enough to point us to Watkins, where they kept a portion of their beef halang for us. A slightly spicy and sour soup, usually made with lots of offcuts of meat, stewed for hours.
Kasi noon, hindi pa kami ano na, siguro na kami sa Panginoon yung sabaw namin, ito. Ito na ang result sa ano pagtyaga namin ng binta ng sabaw. Ito yung laman ng baka. Lagyan namin ng egg. Mayroon kaming liver steak na baka, paklay, kaya lang naubos na. Mayroon kaming mga dilis, lumpia. Ganyan. Naubos na lahat. Apelido yan ng asawa ko kasi Watkins Eatery pa noon. Ginawa na namin yung restaurant kasi sabi ng nila namin, established na kami. Yung pag-serve namin, ma'am, kami talaga yung mag-serve. Yung asawa ko nagluluto, ako ang mag-serve. Entertain talaga ako, sabihin ko talaga na masarap. I-try mo. Yan. Understood din kami, ma'am. Walang ganyan.
This is interesting. This is what comfort usually looks like to me. Something just beautifully soupy. So this was recommended to us. It is a little late, so obviously the production is pretty much done, but it does get apparently really packed during the day. I go in all the time when it comes to really like rich collagen soups, and I can see it happening here. It's really happening. There's a fried egg in the soup, which we're eating here. You can tell there's like a deep bone broth flavor, something that's been on the stove for a long, long time. Usually in these type of places, what I love particularly is if something's being cooked all day, the product you get in the morning is very different from the product you get at night because the flavor intensifies as you cook it down, and usually there's more water added, and then it cooks down. So if you like tastes like this, you come at different times during the day, and you get different experiences. You got these beautiful bits of collagen skin kind of floating around. I mean, you love kind of those saucy with some big institutions. For the most part.
When we were looking for a coffee supplier for our restaurant Chingolo, we really wanted to look local. Curve is dedicated to uplifting local communities and advancing the sustainable growth of local specialty coffee. They are thoroughly engaged in the farm-to-cup ethos and collaborate with farmers all around the country. They've set up here around the beautiful Lake Nahalet, an area that can grow both Robusta and Arabic beans that are now farming and agriculture are stifled with issues in the Philippines. One of the most pressing ones is that younger generations don't see any future in it. It's ironic. Specialty coffee shops are on the rise in big cities, but farmers are often seen as just suppliers, not part of the whole process. This is where things can and will change. We met brother and sister Elgene and Marvin Degohoy. Their parents were coffee farmers, but they took things further. They are both certified Q graders, meaning they are skilled in sensory evaluation of green coffee and have been trained in brewing methods as well. They have an understanding of what customers look for and how they can apply that to their farming practices. They now bring even more value to an already high-value product.
Third generation na kami ng coffee farmers, starting with our lolo. 2012, ang mga kapatid ko, kami yung nagtanim ng punong sinasaka ng kape. Isang phase talaga na na-remember ko kay Papa is yung coffee is good. Hindi namin alam kung ano yun before, but right now, alam na namin kung bakit ginto or magiging pressure yung kape sa family. Kung dito sa Pilipinas, halos lahat kumakain ng bigas. Pero buong mundo, halos lahat ng kape. Nakita niya na in the long run, magiging in demand yung kape. Right now, dito sa barrio, we have tatlong bumibili ng kape namin. Si Ferb, si Coop, tsaka si Kaisar. Sobrang laking tulong ng tatlong grupo na to sa community. We have now our freedom kung yung i-deliver ba namin is ripe cherries, green beans, o commercial coffee. We have now an avenue kung saan lahat ng kape may tahanan, permanent. Nagsimula talaga siya na si Curve is providing us trainings with agricultural practices up to post-harvest processing. Yung mga local farmers dito sa community, mas naging invested sila na magtanim ng kape because of those mga bumibili na. Mas maganda yung quality, mas higher yung price. So, if we don't adapt to the changes or the modern technology, we will settle pa rin sa
in curve, we do have 60 hectares. All are productive, but we still have 7 predators
To develop
to
them.
develop.
And you both grow exclusively for curve,
Yes, there's our factors, but we have our own
as
farm.
we manage other farms.
The family farm.
Okay.
So in this area, we have 3 varieties, which are Pacamaras. We have sweet coffees, locally known sweet coffees, but it resulted 100% Ethiopian landrace. And we also have a suspected geisha from Baguio.
And these are all subspecies of
Have you tried the fruit?
the fresh coffee. Like peppery. The harvesting happens in the
For Arabica, we have Olive. But for Robusta, we have for like 2 months.
The yield of Robusta is way higher compared to a tree of Arabica. But Philippine Robusta has been competing in the market for the process.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and the quality of Philippine Robusta is quite similar to Arabica.
I personally like that we're starting to see a lot more Robusta, especially coffee shops. People are becoming more faithful with Robusta. So how does it feel as farmers to kind of see people appreciating that?
It's overwhelming, especially comparing before when coffee was just
Like a commodity?
yeah, no one's appreciating it the way how we appreciate cups. And now it's crazy. It's crazy. So the neck craving and what I said.
So they're farmers,
Yes.
but they also do their own
Yes.
processing.
First they get the berries and then wash it, clean it, do the flotation. So they have their own small all-weather dryer.
Cool.
This natural process is nice because it still undergoes fermentation of its own while drying, so it has time to develop more flavors. So yes.
And depending on the process, the prices change.
No, depending on the quality of the hospital.
So it really comes down to the customer at the end.
Yes.
When they bring beans for process. The moral of the story, guys, when you drink your coffee in the morning, you're not only kind of drinking something that was created by a whole community, but you're creating something that is just so intense. For someone who's an outsider, so difficult to kind of understand. So seeing all this will give you greater appreciation, but that's not only the case for coffee, but absolutely every high value product, any food that you put in your mouth really. So
Malalim. Kung noon, hirap din talaga kami makakita ng bibili ng kape sa tamang presyo. Ngayon, nandito na si Kurt na tumutulong talaga sa community and a lot of opportunities talaga dumating.
We missed out on so much. Or maybe we did that on purpose so that we would have an excuse to come back. Or maybe that's what Bukidnon is. It's a widespread of stories, culture, and people who tend to and protect their land. It's not a province filled with monuments and zip lines. It's something that needs to be experienced, felt. As I said in the beginning, when the wind hits your skin, when the sun finally relents, a smile forms, and you just feel content. For now, this is maybe really meant to be.
what did the fish shape that it was cut into? Woo! 5 a.m. comedy show.
There's nothing quite like the possibilities of the open road. Every turn brings new stories, every bump a rush of adrenaline and unexpected discoveries. Stop where you want to, sleep where you can, and have some of your favorite bites along the way. This is Forager. In the Tivoli original, the god Duwaka warns humans of the coming deluge. La Bebe la Lomi, Tinfeles, and Lakagef hide inside a huge bamboo. After the waters recede, the four split their way out of the bamboo. La Bebe and La Lomi marry, becoming the ancestors of the Christian Filipinos. Lakagef and Tinfeles also join, and would produce 10 sons and daughters. Of these, Bu and Umen are the ancestors of the Tivoli. The other 8 form couples, their descendants, are the other non-Christian peoples of Mindanao. When you travel through South Cotabato and meet the Tivoli, you feel something ancient, grounded, and deeply rooted in place. Genetic, linguistic, and cultural traces link the Tivoli to a much older migration story.
I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you. Where are you? Okay, nice to meet you.
Part of the Austronesian family, their ancestors likely came by sea thousands of years ago. The Tivoli and other upland groups resisted the spread of Islam in the 14th century, retreating to the mountains as Muslim rule expanded in the Cotabato Valley. Protected from both Islamic and Spanish influence, they remained largely isolated until the American period. In the 1900s, waves of Christian settlers arrived through government resettlement programs, bringing with them commercial interests that claimed land through formal titles. The Tivoli, lacking legal recognition, were pushed off ancestral lands they had inhabited for generations. From the rhythms of language to book-making skills and even spiritual worldviews, you can still sense the echo of the people who once moved the tides. Today, that connection feels distant, but it's still there.
Welcome to the first organized exhibition. You're here now as a Purong. Sa inyong malaking bahay, isang malaking bahay sa Exhibition National. We are preserving here the structure. Every Saturday, we are teaching young children, including mga youth, estudyante, for free, para hindi sila mawala sa kultura. We teach them free for traditional music, dances, storytelling, and then at the same time, yung mga nanay, we're bringing with them their mga apo for them to observe practices na meron. Kasi ngayon, masyado na tayo sa technology. So, our fear is that pag yung mga kabataan ng next generation, hindi sila mawala sa industrial.
These are all traditional Tivoli instruments.
It's a brass plate tank. Hindi lang siya for wedding or for any festivities, but can also the cultural value of this, pag plate tank, pwede mong gamitin ito pang bayad sa utang.
Really? Okay.
Yes, hindi lang siya for instrument, but also for economic value.
Piece by piece or just the whole?
Just the whole.
set?
The whole set. And this one is, we call this blowon. The longer, preserved siya, but it has may mga meaning and cultural symbol din. So, pwedeng yung malaking gong, yung hindi makayang bitbitin ng tao. Pag merong magkakit, pwedeng mag-ritual doon. Or pang-dori din, yung malaking value din yun. So, you wanna listen kung
Yes,
paano
yeah.
okay? Tapos, one of the cultural master namin na kasama ko sa SLT is Joel Gaglal. Siya ang gumagawa ng drums.
He makes it. Okay.
Mhm. transferring it. So, kailangan ko tutuloy talaga siya in black and white para at least
And yung mga younger generation really interested in.
yeah. But although the threat is different to technology,
Are there still a lot of people doing that?
here.
There's still a lot.
In Region 12, particularly in the province of South Cotabato, the places where the Tiboris are is in Tibol municipality and Lake Cebu, mostly. Also in Sarangani province, along the seashore. Sila naman yung open to Mommy. Mommy is a sea or ocean.
As of the ones versus the region.
Yeah. And then the first thing that we need to preserve is the languages. Kami sa ang fear na ito, sasalita ng English, pero yung dapat natin ikakita namin sa community, yung the fear of extinction.
So you need to use it on a daily basis, and not just for cultural
Yeah.
reasons. Culture, you believe, very important.
Yes, lalo na sa mga kamatayan. Hindi pwedeng lost na ang solution, tapos wala kang embrace, wala kang ibang access to wisdom. Before that, libon na mga puno. Hindi magandang tingnan kung ang pamamasin sa akin ng mga kaibigan. Dapat mahaba. Kung the more na mahaba ang buhok ng babae, mas mataas ang tubig.
Any of my teachings can is that still being practiced?
Yes.
And it's so difficult to try to teach all of this knowledge. Because you're teaching it very differently.
Yeah.
Like,
Siyempre, we learn from our ancestors. And then, next naman is parang ang ganda kasi parang within community, it's very difficult sa ibang samahan ko. Kasi, ang nagagawa ko ng so we need to live in that, parallelly, pero hindi pwede makompromise ang culture. Hindi pwede makompromise ang nature. Okay, we need to take care of nature.
it's almost like a value system that needs to be
From losing like sadly that music in Maguindanao, schools of building traditions are quite sanctuaries of cultural memory. But they're under pressure. The funding is scarce. Young people are pulled away by modern jobs, visual lives, and the idea that tradition is something to outgrow. And the masters, the ones who hold the knowledge, are getting older. What's at stake isn't craft, it's an identity. We headed off to another school of the traditions to learn a little more about their performances and their food.
Since this place is very sacred, so every time we have event like this, we need to ask permission. So this is another way of ritual. It's called Kukumagagawa.
After a ritual led by Domingobong, we were invited to watch dances and hear the music. Each song carries memory, a link to ancestors. Tiboli culture is deeply rooted in nature. The dances echo the movement of birds, monkeys, and the forests they grow home.
So I wanted to talk to you something about different people musical instrument, different dances. So this musical instrument called slow. So this is made of bamboo and one like this musical instrument, especially when they are far away from their native lands and families.
Bigas tuman taon nagkandidat hang kaayo sa pag-celebrate sa akong 1 first. Plus, isurprise pa yun na ako si PSA. Karoon din yun ang palitan ng mga online followers. Labi na nila ako mga commenters ng sharer. So, muhata na bukog ng kandidat o 15 yaw. So, comment lang nila sa comment section. Di ba hindi ko nagbagan ng pulong kabuo susuman. Hibawi nga ang kalimutan katuyong pa. Dili sa tanang panahon maglisod na sila. Kung dili po sa tanang panahon,
Our next musical instrument is lutar. And we only start playing lutar during the planting time and harvesting. Our next musical instrument is maki.
pasin niya kumabalik.
Musical instrument
Ayaw ninyo ibang kaangwan, tungod lang kay sila nakalisod-lisod sa ilang paginabuhian. Mabigay sila ng kautang-utang sa inyong tapok, imuuna na ninyo silang susuman. Hibawi nga ang kalimutan katuyong pa. Dili sa tanang panahon maglisod na sila. Dili po sa tanang panahon ang pagdang ka. Pasin niya mabaliktad ang sitwasyon. Ikaw ang punya ibang kalisod-lisod, yan dili niyo kaya. Maong ayaw magmamay, kaya ang kinabuhi ka ba? Dili, permi, hayahay, kanunay. Ayaw ninyo limang kaangwan, tungod lang kay sila nakalisod-lisod sa ilang paginabuhian. Mabigay sila ng kautang-utang sa inyong tapok, imuuna na ninyo silang susuman. Hibawi nga ang kalimutan katuyong pa. Tanang panahon, maglisod na sila. Dili po sa tanang panahon, ang utang ka. Pasin niya, mabaliktad ang sitwasyon. Ikaw ang punya ibang kalisod-lisod, kunyan dili mo kaya. Maong ayaw magmamay, kaya ang kinabuhi ka ba? Dili, permi, hayahay, kanunay. Ayaw ninyo limang kaangwan, tungod lang kay sila nakalisod-lisod sa ilang paginabuhian. Mabigay sila ng kautang-utang sa inyong tapok, imuuna na ninyo silang susuman. Hibawi nga ang kalimutan katuyong pa. Dili sa tanang panahon maglisod na sila. Dili po sa tanang panahon magutang ka. Pasin niya mabaliktad ang sitwasyon. Ikaw ang punya ibang kalisod-lisod, kunyan dili mo kaya. Maong ayaw magmamay, kaya ang kinabuhi ka ba? Dili, permi, hayahay, kanunay. Ayaw ninyo limang kaangwan, tungod lang kay sila nakalisod-lisod sa ilang paginabuhian. Mabigay sila ng kautang-utang sa inyong tapok, imuuna na ninyo silang susuman. Hibawi nga ang kalimutan katuyong pa. Dili sa tanang panahon maglisod na sila. Dili po sa tanang panahon magutang ka. Pasin niya, mabaliktad ang sitwasyon. Ikaw na pupunya ibang kalisod-lisod, kunyan dili mo kaya. Maong ayaw magsamay, kaya ang kinabuhi ka ba? Dili, permi, hayahay, kanunay. Ayaw ninyo limang kaangwan, tungod lang kay sila nakalisod-lisod sa ilang paginabuhian. Mabigay sila ng kautang-utang sa inyong tapok, imuuna na ninyo silang susuman. Hibawi nga ang kalimutan katuyong pa. Dili sa tanang panahon maglisod na sila. Dili po sa tanang panahon magutang ka. Pasin niya mabaliktad ang sitwasyon. Ikaw na pupunya ibang kalisod-lisod, kunyan dili mo kaya. Kunyan dili mo kaya. Kaya ko.
Tatakbo bilang Pangulo ng Pilipinas.
After the cultural presentation, Antonio Yedong taught us how to make the traditional Nilo food. Nilo is a full chopped native chicken seasoned with salt, ginger, onions, and lots of local species of allium and aromatics that I've never seen. All of this is placed in a bamboo trunk, sealed with another leaf that's placed on top of a hot coal or a gravy and rotated multiple times over 90 minutes. While waiting for the dishes to cook, she took me around the farm where she proudly showed all the traditional and native ingredients that she grows.
So this is my garden, sir.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've had